Okay, welcome everybody to this webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about how demand data can boost your revenue management strategy and how BEONx and Trivago can assist you in achieving that. Our experts today, you can see them, both are here with us for the afternoon. Álvaro Ripeto, Revenue Strategy Specialist at BEONx, and Carla Lunenberg, Product Management Lead at Trivago. Hello, Álvaro. Hello, Carla. How are you?
Alvaro, I think you're on mute.
Yeah. I clicked it, but it wasn't strong enough. So yeah, hello everyone.
Well, thank you both for being with us today. As I said, we will discuss the benefits of having demand data integrated into a revenue management system. Some of the people joining us today might know that BEONx has recently integrated destination demand data from Trivago into its platform. So today is going to be a good opportunity for all of you to know more about this new integration, but also to know about how can you boost your strategy of revenue management thanks to demand data. This webinar will be around 30-40 minutes. So please feel free to ask any questions you might have using the chat in the Zoom platform, and we will answer after the presentation of our panelists. This is going to be a discussion like casual, so any doubt you have, don't hesitate to send it to us. So let's start with the first topic we would like to address, and this is a question that I'm going to address to both of you. What are the main benefits of integrating demand data analysis into revenue management processes? And let's start with Carla probably, and then Alvaro, you can also reply.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. First of all, thanks for hosting this webinar. I'm obviously super curious also to hear Alvaro's perspective on this, but from our side, our product, if you look at Trivago, I mean, we have a platform in the sense that we, as a meta search, do have a lot of, on the one hand side, demand side data, and on the other hand side, supply side data. So we do see on our platform all our users performing different searches for destinations, and we can observe that. And then on the other hand side, we also see in terms of results from the advertiser side, the different hotels that list on our platform and the different prices that are displayed to the user. And I think one big advantage of demand data in that sense, this kind of demand data, is that you can really detect signals that lie outside of your traditional seasonality. So on our platform, we do log what we call high intent searches, which means the user goes on our platform, selects a specific check-in and check-out date, and searches for a destination. So in that sense, and then think about accumulating like millions of searches every day. In that sense, you can really see patterns for a specific time to travel and a time frame the users are searching for. And that helps to pick up triggers that lie outside of, let's say, regular summer seasonality, for example. So assume there is a specific event like a football game or a concert, for example, or a specific holiday in a source market. You can really see that on our platform and in our data. And that is a very interesting input then, basically, to have more accurate revenue management and pricing forecast. But Alvaro, please also free to add to that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in addition of everything what Carla mentioned, indeed, as a revenue manager perspective, let's say the main goal of having these extra data that have never been used, I would say, at this so far in terms of revenue management, because we always have the information that we have as a hotel, let's say our reservation, our current reservation, or also our historical data. We were basing everything on that. So mainly we were doing our forecast based on that. But now we have the extra data. Okay, so the main thing that the main benefits, at least the first benefits that we will see once we add this into our analysis, is to have like a better, more accurate forecast. Okay, this is like a first stage, and then we have a lot of things that are related with a good forecast, a better, best accurate forecast. This is mainly to enhance your pricing. So you will have a better pricing because you will be able to adapt and to react to not only the demand that you're receiving, but also the demand that you are seeing that is out there, but you are not getting for any reason. Okay, so that as an example, for instance, and also in the same way to try to improve your inventory management, which means that you can protect few data, those data that you are seeing that you have a peak, not because you have like a good base already, but because you are seeing in this new measure, let's say a new KPI somehow, that you have like an extra demand there or a high demand because a lot of people is searching for that day and you're not getting that demand. Mainly, I mean, could be because you are a lot of protective for that day, or because your pricing strategy is not the right one. So you can even try to adjust your pricing to get this extra demand that is out there. Okay, and then of course also try to, well, as I say, to pry with to have like a competitive advantage as well. If no one is using that because it's like a pretty new thing, is something that you, let's say, you know that no one's know, but that is the amount out there for that day, let's say in March next year, that you can try to tackle and no one's can. So in general, this is mainly collectively, you know, is contributing to have like a overall growth in business for you once you are adding this specific data that you're having never used before. So I would say that's could be the main benefits for the revenue management perspective, to have this demand data.
And Carla, how does demand data analysis provide valuable insights into customer behavior and market trends, and also ultimately at the end enabling accurate demand forecasting?
Yeah, absolutely. I can dive a bit into that. So it relates a bit to what I already mentioned. You can see on the one hand side in our data where the users are searching for example, which means you know from which source market demand is coming into a specific destination, be it a country or obviously also on city level. So in that sense, that already gives an idea whether, for example, you may want to run marketing campaigns for specific source markets in the local language, or have specific offerings in that source market. That is one option. Then very important, what I already mentioned is that I don't log searches data, user searches that just search for a destination randomly on our site, but only always with a defined check-in, check-out date. So you can really tie down the travel window the users are searching for. So that gives you a very precise idea when you can expect a pickup in demand for a specific destination. And then next to that, it's not only about the search data, but there are other parameters that we can track in our user search behavior as well. So for example, we see for how many people users are searching. Are they traveling alone? Are they traveling in a group? Are they traveling with children, for example? So you can also identify in the search data, is this, for example, is there a pickup in family travel? And might it be worth looking into having a specific offering for this kind of traveler? And then in general, I mean, with the time to travel, you could also see, I don't know, is it more a long-term stay or a short-term stay? If I have, for example, for a destination, more like a pickup for a very short period, would I want to set certain restrictions in terms of how many nights the travelers can book, or would I want to optimize more for long-term travel? Do I promote rooms that are more suitable for a longer stay, for example, because I see a pickup in demand there? So those are all patterns that you can see in the demand data that can then help basically to tie your offering to that.
Thank you, Carla. Next question is for Alvaro, and it's also related to customer behavior data. But in this case, we would like to know how can pricing strategies be aligned with customer needs to create a personalized and value-driven experience for guests. And if you can provide some practical tips or use cases, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I would say also in line with what Carla mentioned in the prior question. I mean, we are not only seeing the number of searches that we have for a specific state aid, but it's also that we have like more detail, like how many guests do we have for a specific state aid, if they have children. So for instance, just taking a sample, we can see if we are tackling the family demand. Let's say, are we offering a family room in case we have any family room, or do we have the opportunity to I don't know, to try to combine 2 rooms to offer that specific demand that is out there and we are not receiving? So that's kind of thing this will help us to of course to gather like and also to tackle different demand that we're getting so far. But in general, I would say that the thing that we should do is like to analyze the segmentation that we have, to know more about the client, the guests, also based on this data. And for instance, we can try to provide like the best offering, a particular offer, and to be quite, how to say, to have like a customized pricing for a specific client and behavior. Like for instance, we know that for business traveler, they need like they're willing to pay for extra Wi-Fi, they're willing to pay for a transfer, and they want like probably a better room than like standard one, because they will be spending like a few hours probably there working from the room. So we can create a particular pricing for them, specifically like a package for them. Let's say, so we're tackling the demand as well, and we can combine these searches, these demand searches that we have in order to create a specific package. Like for instance, also families, we know that they will be looking for, how to say, they were looking for activities for the kids, activities also for the adults. So in general, to have like a family-friendly hotels. So we know that we can create also a package for them, like a family package, including everything what they need. So we will be tackling also all their needs. Also will help us this to gather all the information, all the feedback that we can gain from them, like I don't know, to know the pains that they have, so we can also try to create specifically service for that, or to improve the service that we have currently, and try to improve in general the customer experience that they have. Okay, so we can use all this data to target those clients that we are not getting so far, or that we're getting, let's say, but the feedback that we're getting from them is not right. Okay, so I would say that should be like the key of personalization, they say, of the customer, to try to improve also and to growth in terms of business.
Thank you, Alvaro. So Carla, can you share some specific examples of how hotels can leverage demand data to identify upselling and cross-selling opportunities, and of course to maximize revenue potential?
I think this was, I mean, I can share some more concrete examples, but I think it was already pretty much covered also by Alvaro's answers. So all the opportunities he mentioned are basically patterns in our data that you can see and that you can analyze in advance when you look at how demand is going to pick up. And then it's really the questions, what do you want to focus on? And also what, I mean, it depends also on the specific hotel, right? What do you specialize in? So for example, assuming that you can see that you have a pickup in demand in a certain period of time, or maybe in general for, as I mentioned, longer term stays. I'm talking about this example usually because it's something that we can see post-pandemic, that it's something that picked up quite a bit, like more and more people, for example, doing workation, having more flexibility in their work, and then combining leisure travel with working stay. So taking that as an example, you could see in our demand data that there's a pickup in longer stays, long or mid-term stays. So one option might be, do you want to offer specific rooms that are more suited, for example, for this kind of traveler, right? That do have, for example, a desk or working station, or might it be even worth thinking about utilizing space in your hotel? So, for example, you have a restaurant, but it's closed maybe for a certain amount of time for dining. Would you maybe want to use that and give the opportunity to work there? That can be opportunities to really capitalize and use that data to maximize the usage of your property, and then also cross-sell other room types, for example. And another example I always talk about, but that is one Alvaro already mentions, is usually activities, especially if you see pickup and family travel. I think there are also certain, a lot of different activities that you could cross-sell to travelers that are interested in that.
Alvaro, you are a revenue manager yourself. So what do you think are the common challenges that hotels may encounter when incorporating demand data in analysis into their revenue management system? And how can these challenges be overcome?
Yeah, well, I would say mainly the main challenge will be, well, first of all, we will need to see exactly what is the context of the hotel, the client, in case we don't have like a particular system to have this data and to try to analyze this data. Of course, the main thing will be like the complexity of this data. Okay, if you don't have like a particular system that can track and can treat this data. So first of all, it will be the complexity. So the idea and the solution for that, of course, it will be to find that tool, that system, that it could be a BA system, a revenue management system, that can gather that information and provide you like a better or less complex analysis of this data. Then, even though we have that system, we will have probably a lack of expertise, which means that probably you have the system, but no one in the hotel has the knowledge of reading this information and to take, of course, how to say, action based on that data. So once again, the solution will be to find someone expertise. Even if we train them, someone from the hotel, we can do like I don't know, revenue management course or master, or we can even try to hire someone. Okay, and then of course will be the test limitation or the budget that the company or the hotel has to invest in this kind of tools in order to track and to analyze the data. And the point here will be to try to make like a plan for 4 or 5 years, I would say. Like, okay, we're in that stage, and in 5 years we would like to be in that point, okay, to try to fight against our competitors or against the big ones, let's say, and try to go step by step. Like, okay, do I have a channel manager? If I don't, okay, my first step, it will be to have a channel manager so I can distribute all my rates in a proper way and the easiest way. If so, next year we can have like, I don't know, RMS. So we can have all the data at once, so we can send pricing from there. We can take the advantage of this kind of demand data included in there, and also to have pricing recommendation and to save that time, for instance. And of course, also related with this, it will be the main challenge will be for some companies to have the resistance to a change, even because they will always say like, we were working that way since years, okay, and we don't want to move from there. And even though, I mean, we know that there will be an opportunity, we don't want to invest in that technology. And the solution in here will be, in case we have a revenue manager, to really show them and to share the benefits in the medium long term, of course, of this investment, that of course we will receive a return for sure. Because I mean, whatever you do in terms of revenue management, if you're not doing anything, you will get like a really quick return in your business. So I would say all those ones, it will be the main challenge. And in case you have an RMS, of course, the main challenge will be how to adapt this information, or how to measure that information and take action based on that. Okay, to really understand if for a specific day I have a high demand for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, what should I do? Okay, to really to really tackle this demand, or to really really understand what's happening there. Okay, now how can I include this also into my forecast for the future?
Thank you. Next question is for both of you. And this is how does collaboration between Trivago and BEONx enables the use of demand data for revenue management? And if you can tell us about some specific benefits or synergies that could help us our partnership.
I can start.
Yeah, sure.
We basically, I mean, how it works is that we basically log and clean the data and then feed that to BEONx, who, as Alvaro already explained, incorporates that data into their product and makes it available to you, hotels and hoteliers. And for us as Trivago, there's, I think, I would say, two key aspects to this partnership in general that is especially beneficial. On exposing our data and partnering with companies like BEONx, we also learn a lot about our own product, right? So we get feedback from our partners on the data. We keep in close touch also on what is going on in the market, what are really the needs from the customer sides, hotels and hoteliers. And that is super beneficial also for our internal product development, and also getting regular customer feedback on, for example, are there certain data parameters we should look into more or also make accessible in addition. And that as Trivago, we use as feedback as well internally to take decisions and to look at our product, our core product, with a different perspective. So I would say in general, these partnerships are super beneficial. And then obviously, as the second part to that, but not less important, it's also very much in our interest to empower smaller players, hotels or smaller hotel chains in the overall travel ecosystem by making this data available and help them really take informed decisions, right? Because just to create a fair and competitive market, where everyone can participate and really can reap their full potential. That is absolutely also in our interest, because we run a marketplace business. We also want to have a competitive marketplace and overall a competitive eco travel system, so that not, the major chunk always goes to the big global OTAs, but also really empower the medium and smaller players to leverage their potential.
Yeah, I mean, from a revenue manager's perspective as well, something that this collaboration and this data can provide to and how can they improve, let's say, the utilization of this data is mainly that, for instance, the data that we are providing is for 365 days. So you will be able to see the demand for that long period. That so far, as a revenue manager, I think you really focus on the coming month. I would say some peak days that you could have in the future as well, and you are reacting in this the same. For instance, next year you are reacting in 224 when you receive some big pickup. So you try to react on that. Okay, with this kind of data now, we can be kind of proactive as well. And even though we are not receiving any kind of demand, we can, as I said at the beginning as well, we can see that there's high demand for peak days, so we can try to react. So in general, what we are providing to revenue managers, to the hotel in general, is like a wider scope of their vision. Mainly is like they're not really they need like they will have now like a two more eyes, so they can not only focus on this short-term period, but also they can have a look at to have like a signal in there for the future, so they can improve that as well. So they, in general, they will have like a better understanding of the market as well, so they will know exactly how to adapt this strategy in order to gather more or to improve to optimize the revenues in general. What else? As also Carla mentioned as well, we have this signal, okay, as I say, so we can be proactive. What else is thinking about? Yeah, of course. One good thing it will be that this also will help us to save some time when working. So just imagine like a few years ago when you have like the shopping in one screen, you have your PMS another screen. In case you have a BI, you have another screen. You have like multiple screens where you need to play a little bit to jump from one to another to at the end try to analyze everything. And with if you're adding this information to RMS, like it could be BEONx, of course, you will be having like everything in once, so it will be much easier for you. You will be saving time, and instead of spending a lot of time and changing pricing and then doing like manual work, you will have everything at once, and you will have the right time to analyze the data and to act and to have like a really impact on your decision at the end. Yeah.
Very interesting for all our listeners to know how to make the most of this integration. Can you also share with us some best practices for successfully integrating all this data, like some tips, basic team tips that they can follow if they want to go for it?
Do you want to start, Carla, or do you want me to?
I would suggest you start because I'm really more on the side of how we deliver the data to you. So I think you can probably give more insights on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I would say once you start, if you want to start adding this kind of data to RMS indeed, or to your let's say to your business, okay, and normally this will be much easier if you add it to a BI or to our RMS, because it will be, as I say, you will have like more challenge, less challenge, let's say, to tackle. But in this case, I would say, I will try to set like a goals of, okay, I want this data to do this, so my goals are to improve this and this and this, because I don't know, my forecast probably is not accurate, so I will try to improve it by adding this data as well, and also to make like a plan to how to measure how this is impacting into my business. Okay, but mainly I would say that the main point, the best practice that I could say is like, try to find an RMS if you don't have to, mainly because what I say, you have everything in once and you can use this data properly. You don't need to trade the data in case you're able to, to gather the information from Trivago, for instance. You won't be able to, to treat this data. So if you have it, a system would provide you the data already treated, it will be easier to you, and you just need to take action based on that information. So I would try to do so, but also trying to know exactly what are my goals by adding this data. That could be even trying to improve your forecast accuracy, or trying to have like a, I don't know, better knowledge of your demand, to try to improve your segmentation and this kind of things. So better understand of what you really want to do with this information.
We're almost finishing, but I would like to end with one question for you both. What do you think are the key feature trends, or the things that we are going to see in the future in relation to demand data analysis and revenue management that the hotels should be aware of, and how they can stay ahead of the trend and evolve and adapt very fast? What do you think the future holds for us?
Yeah, from my point of view, I believe that third-party data, and especially live data, or live is always by definition, obviously, but let's say very recent data, up-to-date data will become more and more important, because we've seen during COVID, but also post-COVID, that seasonality is quite skewed, and the market is pretty uncertain, and there are always events that lie outside of the traditional patterns, and there is really huge potential to monetize on these events, and you can only detect them not by relying on your own historical data, but really connecting to third-party data, live third-party data. One is obviously our product, but there are also other data sources. I mean, it's not a secret. Like event data, for example, is another element of that. And looking at the landscape in a broader view, I would say, that's definitely one trend of the future, that live data and third-party data will become more and more relevant to identify these potential opportunities to tap into value pockets that haven't been accessed before, because you cannot see them or notice them by simply relying on your own historical data.
Yeah, sure. I mean, also in addition to the live data, I think that's really, it's really a challenge, but it's really good to have, I would say, because you can react on time to anything that happened, especially now that everything happened from one day to another. Okay, you can get like a new announce of event from hour to another, and you can get your hotel full just in a couple of hours. So if you are able, or your system are able to react on time, I mean, you're saving a lot of money on that things. But also, I think I've already talked a lot about that, but the idea of customize everything as much as we can to provide like specific pricing, specific product for each guest. It will be kind of the future was. We already saw some partner there that are already working on that in terms of creating like a specific experience for each guest as well. So thanks to this data that we have currently, so we know the demand and we have all this detail of each guest, is something that we can proactively work in and to create these packages, so this pricing for them as well. I think this will be a good advantage to be in that. Also, I would say also that so far we have, as a revenue manager, we have been working all the time in the, let's say, in the gross ADR, gross revenues, more focused on that to try to improve only our revenues as much as we can. But I think currently it's really close now. We were looking at the profitability, I would say. So we will be also looking at the costs. So all these data as well, it could really help us to understand which kind of, or which revenue stream has like is more profitable for us, where we need to work on it. Like how to say, we can see which channel is less profitable for us, so we can try to, you know, to increase the share of the most profitable channel in order to reduce our costs and to, of course, to increase our profitability. And like more in the future, more like a vision, okay, but there's already some companies working on that, like in this case BEONx as well. We're also working about sustainability, okay. So we are not only focused on profitability, of course, is like a key for companies to make money and to make profits, of course, but also to look at the future, to know, to try to reduce the footprint that we're all having in the planet. So it's something that now, you know, is like kind of trend, but I would say the future will be kind of mandatory to have like a, you know, to have like a certain strategies on that. So this could be like the trend as well, to try to understand demand and to try to combine the profitability and sustainability as much as we can. Okay, so in general, try to, I mean, as a hotel, I will try to be on top, up to date on this, on all this technology, all this system, as much as I can, in order to be to be gaining all this profit that we can.
Thank you all. It's been a really a pleasure. We're running out of time. I think, let me check, because I think I have received one question from the audience. So maybe we have a couple of minutes to answer one question. And this is, how can hotels ensure the accuracy and reliability of demand data? How can they make sure that customer behavior or market trends can be highly, let me read it properly. Yeah. How can hotels ensure the accuracy and reliability of data, considering that customer behavior and market trends can be highly volatile? That's the question that we have today from the audience. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Carl, you probably have like more details on that, but I can try to add as well.
I can start, and then you can add to that. So from our perspective, how you have to imagine it from our side, from the demand side, is, I mean, obviously the market is volatile and customer behavior changes, but you have to imagine that we don't look, let's say, at 100 users coming to our website and searching. We have millions of searches every day. So if you take that data and take the bigger picture, this is already gives quite an accurate view on the overall trends, right? So obviously there might be changes, but given the sheer volume that we have on our platform, it is a very, very strong indicator in which direction certain demand patterns go in that sense. So that's really what I can say. And I mean, in terms of accuracy, obviously, before we feed the data to third parties like BEONx, we have our internal data quality checks to make sure that everything is accurate and reliable. So yeah, given that we have very huge volume of traffic on our side, it is a very strong predictor in that sense. Alvaro, I don't know, maybe you want to add to that.
Yeah, well, I don't have like a long experience on using data because, as I said, I would say that's something pretty new as well. So, but in order to make the accuracy of the data and to try to rely on this data is something probably that you need to test and see with the time is that kind of demand is already matching your hotel or your data, because it could be that there's demand there, but it's not impacting your hotel because the strategy that you're following. So that's what I think is quite hard to really understand if this if the data or the demand is accurate or not, because if you see like a high demand, you expect like to have like a peak of reservation or to be able to optimize your day as much as you can, but also it will be really related with the strategy you're following. So in case you have a system, probably you will try, or you will need to try to let them work itself and see how it goes, if that's really is something that is helping to your business, or if it's really a high demand. Otherwise, of course, I would say you can talk with Trivago and try to to improve this data. But as I say, I think there's not like this is 100% accurate data. Of course, it will be like a really big picture of, as you say, million of searches that can change from one day to another as well. But it's like the life and your current data that you have now is not 100% reliable, because you only rely on the data, the reservation that you receive, that for one day you can receive like a lot of reservation, and from one day to another you can receive a lot of cancellation. So, you know.
That is a good point. I forgot to mention is obviously that it's delivered daily, right? So you do get continuously an update on what is happening actually on our side. And when you have a time series and observe that over, I don't know, let's say a week or 2 weeks, you will get a much clearer picture in that sense, also to have a time series on that data. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have a system that is connected with that data and is making the pricing for you, the system will update based on the data that you're receiving. So somehow I think everything is quite linked. So you have everything. Otherwise, I mean, if you are working manually in all this data, of course, you will have this delay of looking at the data and reacting to this data. And of course, you can even believe that it's not 100% accurate, but it will be a matter of just trying and test what really worked for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It was really interesting for us to listen this webinar and learn from you. It was a pleasure having both of you today joining us. Thank you, Carla, for your time, and thank you for being part of this project and for the partnership. For all of you attending the webinar, the recording is going to be online in our website, BEONx.com, so you will be able to see it again. And if you are interested in getting more information about our product or the integration, just contact us. We will be very happy to assist you. Thank you, Alvaro. Thank you, Carla. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.